If you've watched this far, it's not because you're bored. It's because something inside you knows. This message is about you, not the version you show the world, the version you talk to when no one is listening, the one who knows exactly what they've been avoiding. You don't need another year. You don't need a miracle. You don't need permission. You need honesty. Honesty about where you are. Honesty about what hurts. Honesty about the fact that no one is coming. No year, no trend, no perfect moment. Life doesn't pause until you feel ready, keeps moving. And every day you delay, you're not standing still. You're choosing who you stay. 1 year from now, you will still be living with the consequences of what you do today. That's not pressure. That's power. Because it means change is closer than you think. Not in 2026. Not next January. Not someday. Now, not all at once. Not perfectly. Just one decision. One action. One promise you actually keep. Because the moment you keep a promise to yourself, something inside you shifts. You stop feeling helpless. You stop waiting. You stop outsourcing your life to time. You take it back. And it won't feel heroic. It won't feel cinematic. It will feel quiet, like choosing to act, even when no one is clapping, like choosing discomfort over another year of regret. And that choice, made daily, changes everything. So before you close this video, ask yourself one question, not a dramatic one, a simple one. What am I going to do today that proves I'm done waiting? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because 2026 is not coming to save you. But if you start now, you won't need saving. Your days stop feeling random. Your energy stops leaking everywhere. You stop asking, what should I do today? And start asking, did I do the thing? That's it. That's the shift. Not dramatic, not emotional, but powerful. This is how people build confidence. Not by hype, by evidence. Every time you show up for your one action, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming. And over time, those votes stack. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries. You become someone who follows through. And follow through changes how you walk into rooms, how you speak, how you trust yourself. It's subtle, but it's permanent. This is why discipline beats motivation every time. Motivation asks, how do I feel? Discipline asks, what did I commit to? And commitment creates freedom. Because when you keep promises to yourself, you stop needing external validation. You don't need likes to feel worthy. You don't need approval to move forward. You become self-led. And self-led people don't wait for years to change them. They change themselves. Quietly, daily, relentlessly. And here's the part most videos won't tell you. First, nothing will happen. No results. No praise. No visible progress. Just repetition. And this is where most people quit. Because they mistake silence for failure. But silence is normal. Growth is happening underground. Long before it shows above the surface. Roots form before leaves. And if you keep digging up the seed to check if it's growing, it never will. You have to trust the process. You committed to, not because it feels good, but because you decided. And decisions, once made, remove emotional negotiation. That's the real power. You stop asking yourself every day whether you should show up. You just do. And days like that compound, until one day you realize you're no longer waiting for a year to save you. You're building something that doesn't depend on time. It depends on you. You stop asking, can I do this? And start saying, this is who I am now. That shift doesn't happen in January. It happens the moment you stop negotiating with yourself. The moment you choose action over comfort. The moment you realize waiting is a decision too, and it's costing you more than you think. Everyone is looking for the secret, the routine, the mindset, the strategy, something dramatic, something powerful, something that flips a switch overnight. But the truth is quieter than that. Change doesn't come from intensity, it comes from consistency, and consistency is boring. That's why most people avoid it. There's nothing glamorous about doing the same small thing, even when no one is watching, even when no one cares, even when it feels pointless. But that's where identity is built. Not in big moments, in repeated ones. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And most people don't have systems. They have wishes. They wait for motivation to strike. They wait to feel inspired. They wait to feel aligned. But alignment is created through movement, not thought. The people who change their lives understand this. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a non-negotiable action. One thing you do no matter how you feel. Not 10 habits. Not a full routine. One. Because one action done daily is more powerful than 100 ideas done occasionally. And this is where people get uncomfortable. Because choosing one action means you can't hide behind complexity anymore. You can't say you're figuring things out. You can't say you're preparing. You're either doing it or you're not. And that clarity is terrifying. But it's also freeing. Because once you choose your one action, decisions get easier. Your days stop feeling random. Your energy stops leaking everywhere. That's why some people defend their limitations aggressively. They mock ambition. They shame discipline. They call growth toxic. Not because growth is wrong, but because watching others change forces them to confront what they avoided. And avoidance hardens over time. It becomes identity. I'm just not that kind of person. I've always been like this. It's too late for me anyway. Those sentences are not facts. They're conclusions drawn from years of inaction. And conclusions can be wrong. But most people never challenge them. Because challenging them would require hope. And hope is dangerous when you're afraid of disappointment. So they choose certainty instead. Even if that certainty is misery. The people who wake up early understand something brutal. Pain is coming either way. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One hurts now, the other hurts forever. And the scary part? Regret doesn't announce itself. It shows up quietly, in conversations you avoid, in dreams you don't talk about anymore, in advice you give others but never follow yourself. You become the person who says, "Do it while you're young. Don't waste time like I did." And every time you say it, part of you aches, because you know exactly what you mean. That doesn't have to be your story, but it will be if you keep waiting for a year to change you, because years don't transform people. Pressure does. Choice does. Action does. The people who change early aren't fearless. They're just honest. Honest about where they are. Honest about what hurts. Honest about the fact that no one is coming. No perfect moment. No perfect timing. No perfect version of themselves. Just now. And they move. Not confidently. Not smoothly. But consistently. And consistency compounds. One day becomes a week. A week becomes momentum. Momentum becomes identity. And identity changes everything. And once you take that first step, something shifts. Not outside, inside. You start seeing yourself differently. Not as someone who wants change, but as someone who moves. And movers don't wait for years to save them. They build their own momentum. They understand that no year will rescue them. Only choices will. There are two kinds of people. Those who wake up early, and those who wake up when it hurts too much to ignore. The difference isn't intelligence, or luck, or talent. It's timing. Some people listen to discomfort when it whispers. Others wait until it screams. The whisper sounds like this: "I'm not happy. I feel stuck. I know I'm capable of more." It's quiet, easy to dismiss, easy to drown out with noise. So most people ignore it. They tell themselves they're overthinking, that everyone feels this way, that life isn't supposed to feel exciting. And for a while, that works. Until the whisper becomes a weight. You start feeling tired all the time. Not physically, emotionally. You wake up already drained. You go to sleep feeling like the day slipped through your hands. But you still tell yourself, next year, until one day something happens. A birthday, a breakup, a missed opportunity, a mirror you can't look away from. And suddenly, the whisper screams, "How long are you going to live like this?" That's when people panic. Not because they failed, but because they realize how long they've been waiting. And panic-driven change is painful. It's rushed, desperate, heavy with regret. They don't just grieve lost time. They grieve lost versions of themselves, the person they could have been, if they had started earlier. This is why waiting is so dangerous. Not because nothing happens while you wait, but because something does. Your tolerance for dissatisfaction increases. You get used to being unfulfilled. And the longer you stay there, the harder it is to imagine anything else. You tell yourself this is adulthood. This is reality. This is just how life is. But deep down, you know that's not true. Because every time you see someone living boldly, something inside you aches. Not because you're jealous, because you recognize what you abandoned. And that pain isn't random. It's your potential refusing to be ignored. But instead of listening to it, you numb it with scrolling, with distractions, with productivity theater. You stay busy so you don't have to be honest. Because honesty would force a decision. And decisions are scary. Decisions mean closing doors, letting go of identities, disappointing people, even disappointing the version of you that was comfortable being stuck. So you delay, and delay slowly erodes self-trust. Every time you promise yourself tomorrow and don't follow through, you teach your brain that your words don't matter. And once you stop trusting yourself, everything feels harder. Starting feels heavier. Commitment feels unrealistic. Dreams feel childish, not because they are, but because you've trained yourself to doubt your own consistency. That's why the first change isn't external. It's internal. It's keeping one small promise to yourself. Not a big goal, not a dramatic transformation, just one action that proves you are who you say you want to become. Because identity is not declared. It's demonstrated. You don't become confident by thinking confident thoughts. You become confident by doing things a confident person would do, even while shaking. You don't become disciplined by reading about discipline. You become disciplined by showing up when you don't feel like it. And here's the part that changes everything. You don't need to overhaul your life. You need to stop lying to yourself about when you'll start. Not next month. Not next year. Not when everything lines up. Now, messy, unclear, imperfect. Because imperfect action beats perfect intention every time. And the longer you wait, the stronger that voice becomes. Because hesitation feeds fear. And fear feeds stories. Stories about why you're different. Why it's harder for you. Why others can, but you can't. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The people who changed didn't feel braver than you. They just stopped negotiating with their fear. Fear never disappears. You just stop listening to it. They understood something most people don't. Your mind will never give you permission to grow. You have to move without permission. That's why waiting for motivation is a trap. Motivation is an emotion, and emotions are unreliable. You don't wait to feel confident before acting. You act and confidence follows. You don't wait to feel disciplined. You practice discipline and identity follows. But most people want identity first. I'll start when I feel like a disciplined person. I'll try when I believe in myself. I'll commit when I'm sure. That day never comes. Because belief is built through evidence. And evidence only comes from action. Small action. Imperfect action. Embarrassing action. The kind that doesn't look impressive on social media. The kind no one applauds. And that's exactly why it works. Because transformation happens in private. While others are waiting for perfect conditions, you're building momentum. And momentum is dangerous. Once you have it, your old excuses lose power. That's why your brain resists the first step more than anything else. Not because it's hard, but because it changes who's in control. Right now, comfort is in control. Comfort decides when you wake up. Comfort decides what you avoid. Comfort decides how much potential you waste. And comfort hates deadlines. Comfort loves later. But later is where dreams go to die quietly. Not violently, Not tragically, just slowly, with no one noticing. Years pass. You adapt. You normalize dissatisfaction. They want transformation without tension. Results without resistance. Life doesn't work that way. If you're waiting for 2026 to save you, ask yourself something honestly. What exactly do you think will change? If you don't, will your habits magically improve? Will your fears disappear on January 1st? Will discipline fall from the sky? Or will you wake up the same person, with a different excuse? Time doesn't create change. Pressure does. And pressure only comes when you stop running from yourself. The moment you stop saying someday and start saying now, even if you're scared, even if you're unsure, even if you don't feel ready, especially then, because readiness is a lie we tell ourselves to avoid responsibility. No one is ready, they just start, and starting rewires everything. Not overnight, not dramatically, but slowly, deeply, permanently. This video isn't here to motivate you. Motivation fades. This is here to wake you up. Because if you don't wake up now, you'll wake up later wishing you had. And the most painful regret isn't failure. It's knowing you delayed your own life waiting for a future that was never coming. 2026 is not coming to save you, but you can. Your mind is not designed to make you successful. It's designed to keep you safe. Safe feels familiar. Familiar feels predictable. Predictable feels controllable. Even if it's painful, that's why your brain prefers a known struggle over an unknown possibility. It would rather keep you stuck than risk you changing and failing. So every time you think about starting, your mind reacts like you're in danger. It doesn't scream. It doesn't panic. It rationalizes. Now is not the right time. You need to prepare more. Let's wait until things calm down. But things never calm down. There is always something, a reason, a distraction, an excuse dressed up as logic. You keep saying it quietly, sometimes out loud, sometimes only in your head. Next year will be different. You say it like a promise, like a plan, like a lifeline. You look at the calendar and feel relief instead of urgency. Because as long as the year hasn't changed yet, you still don't have to. You don't have to start. You don't have to decide. You don't have to risk failing. You tell yourself that 2026 will fix what you're avoiding today. But listen to me carefully. 2026 is not coming to save you. Not from your fear. Not from your habits. Not from the version of yourself you keep tolerating. And if nothing changes now, next year will look exactly like this one. Same excuses. Same regrets. Same late nights wondering how time slipped through your hands again. The truth hurts because it removes hope built on illusion. Years don't change people. Moments of courage do. And if you're waiting for a date on a calendar to give you permission to become someone else, you're already losing time you'll never get back. You don't need a new year. You need a new decision. But decisions are uncomfortable. They don't feel magical. They don't come with fireworks. They come with fear, with doubt, with that quiet voice asking, "What if I try?" And nothing changes. So instead, you wait. You wait because waiting feels safe. Waiting feels responsible. Waiting feels like you're still moving, without actually moving. You watch motivational videos. You save quotes. You imagine a future version of yourself who finally has it together. But imagination is cheap. Everyone imagines a better life. Very few are willing to do the boring, painful, invisible work required to build it. And here's the part no one wants to admit. You don't delay change because you're lazy. You delay change because you're scared of finding out who you are without excuses. As long as you're waiting for next year, you don't have to face the possibility that the problem was never time. It was you. That realization is heavy. It shakes your identity. Because if time isn't the issue, then responsibility is. And responsibility means you can no longer blame circumstances, or luck, or timing, or other people. It means your life is the result of choices you repeat daily. And repetition is uncomfortable to look at, so you avoid it. You tell yourself stories. I just need motivation. I just need clarity. I just need one more sign. But motivation doesn't create discipline. Clarity doesn't come before action. And signs don't appear for people who refuse to move. Action comes first. Confusion comes with it. Confidence comes last. But your brain wants comfort now, not growth later. So it whispers, rest a little longer. Start fresh next year. You've got time. And slowly, quietly, years pass. Not dramatically, not loudly. They pass in ordinary days, in postponed dreams, in small promises you break to yourself and pretend don't matter. Until one day you wake up older, not wiser, just tired. Tired of starting over. Tired of being inspired but unchanged. Tired of knowing what to do but never doing it. And that's when regret shows up. Not screaming, not accusing, just sitting there, asking softly, how long did you think you had? This is why the idea of next year is dangerous. Because it feels like progress without sacrifice. But nothing changes without sacrifice. Every version of you that grows requires the death of a comfortable one. And comfort is addictive. Comfort tells you that you deserve ease before effort. That healing should feel good. That growth should feel gentle. But real growth feels awkward, lonely, embarrassing. Feels like starting before you're ready. Like being bad at something publicly. Like choosing discipline when no one is watching. And that's why most people don't change. Not because they can't, but because they don't want to feel uncomfortable long enough.